Hello, I'm Tim Durham with Durham's Bee Farm in Walls, Mississippi, and we're in the very northwest corner of the state. You know how people in New York, they say if they're from upstate New York? I'm going to start telling people I'm from upstate Mississippi. That sounds more highfalutin. I'm going to take his sweatband off. I don't need it today. It's 72. It's beautiful weather. And I've got this piece of paper here. There's some points that I want to make, and I don't want to forget them. This is the beehive that 7 days ago, my son, you saw that he dumped this swarm in this box. We're going to go in this hive and check them out for the first time. I haven't been in there, and I'm anxious to see and hope there's a good laying queen. Every beekeeper wants to see the queen, and I can remember when I got my first beehive, I was so excited. So when people, they send me a message on YouTube and they say they're getting their first beehive, and I know the excitement they're feeling. So I'm gonna get to it, and then we'll go over these points, but we'll go through the hive first. Let me see if the video's about right. We're gonna move it up a little closer, about like that, okay? And now I did like my smoker, and I use pine needles. You can use cardboard, but cardboard will burn your eyes. But you want a good thick smoke. If I had $1 for every time I lit my smoker and I thought it was lit and it went out on me, so you got to get it hot, but you want a thick smoke like that. Now I'm not going to over smoke these bees, but the new beekeeper, you puff a smoke in the entrance like that, and I just did it gently, and then raise the top up and put you a puff in there, and then wait about a minute. That might seem like a long time. Now, what's good about a beginner beekeeper starting with a package bees or a swarm is the colony is smaller, and you will grow with them. When they're smaller, they're not as aggressive or they're not as defensive. So we're going to lay that top off, and well, I see already. I can see some comb in there. It's going to be beautiful. Oh my! And we're going to lay that inner cover over there. Now I'm going to take the outside frame out, and I'm going to put it in the back there. Now I've got the outside frame out. Now I can slide these over. Look here, this is next to the outside frame. Look there at the comb they built. Now we're looking for eggs and or the queen, and usually you're not going to find her here on the outside. You're probably going to find her in here where most of the bees are. Alright, now I hope I can find the queen so I can show her to you. Now, if you haven't eaten onions or bananas, they've got those cells covered up. You can kind of blow on them and see how they'll kind of move, so you can see the comb and see if there's any eggs in there. Okay, I don't see any eggs in there, and I'm also, if I don't see any eggs, I'm looking for a virgin queen, because anything's possible. And they had, I saw a swinging bridge in there, so. Alright, now, when you're looking for a queen, don't look at each bee, just look in general. Eggs are usually easier to spot in new comb than they are the old dark comb. My eyes aren't like they used to be. Right now I'm not seeing any eggs. But boy, that's some pretty comb. Maybe we'll get lucky and see some eggs on this one here. Alright, I'm first looking over to see if I spot the queen. Now, queens are different. You can get a queen that's a runner. I mean, she'll get on the bottom board and hide from you. And you can get a queen that you can get a queen that's on this side, and it's like she knows you're there, and she'll run around the other side. Alright, now I'm looking for eggs. This is not looking good because I believe we would have already seen eggs. Unless she was a virgin queen, and I don't. That's why I wanted to wait 7 days. Okay, I see eggs. Thank you, thank you. I just don't. I see eggs. I don't believe the camera. I would get the camera and try to show you the eggs, but it looks like it's a fraction of the size of a piece of rice. So we know we have a queen. We know we have a queen in here, and we don't know how good she is. Now, right now, I'm looking for the queens. What I'm doing, and if I find her, then I'll probably be able to point her out where you can see her. But they took that first jar of sugar syrup. It's about 1.5 quarts. They took that in about 28 hours. I'm looking for the queen right now, and I can't multitask. I can't. So right now, there's pollen in here. Now, if you don't find the queen on the first go around, and I didn't, so usually she's going to be in there where the heart of the bees are, but there's exceptions to everything. And now I'm going to show you this. See where they start to build some burr comb right here, perpendicular. So I'm gonna cut that off because it'll mess up that comb. All right, now here's the other side of that. I'm looking down in the bottom of the hive. The queen can be a runner. Now I'm gonna tear this burr comb off because it'll mess up the comb. But inevitably that's going to happen. Now, if you don't find the queen the first go around, here's what I do. Now I'm going to start and go back through, and this time I'm going to go faster. And when you're looking for the queen, I don't know how to tell you this, but don't look at each specific bee. Just look in general, and then that queen may just all of a sudden pop up. Your eye will catch her. But we're gonna go through. But I'm thankful we found eggs, and I see bees doing dances on there. They're telling them where the flower blooms are, and I continue looking for these are pretty Italian bees. I was hoping we could find the queen, and I could show her to you. But sometimes you do and sometimes you don't. All beekeepers like to see the queen. I've got about 2 more to go, 2 more frames, and then we'll put them back together, and I'll go over those points that I was talking about. There she is. Whoopee! All right. Now I'm gonna try to. She's crawled around the other side. No, there she is. Do you see her right there? Right there. And she's not a runner. She's not a hider. Look at her. I'm going to try to move the. See, right there she is. Right there. You see her? I hope you see her. I'm gonna move the camera around where maybe. Right there. So there she is. Okay. All right. Very good. All right. Thank you. All right. Now we're going to put the hive back together like it was, because if this colony, I'm going to push the frames together, push them toward each other, snug them up for right now. If this colony had been basically over here on this side, then I would have taken an empty frame over here. I would have moved them so they'd end up in the center. That way they can work equally both directions. Okay, we're gonna put it back together. And now, here's one point that I want to make. This inner cover, you see this oblong hole here? There's not a lot of things that are factual. I mean, can't think of the word. There's not a lot of things that you know. There's only one way to do it, but in my opinion, this is the way they did it for years. The reason this hole is oblong like that, a one-way trap fits in there. So when you have a honey super up here, you can put that trap in there, and the bees are supposed to go down to the bottom and leave the super. Well, listen. When the blower was invented, this hole right here is obsolete, and there's another reason why you should not use this. What should be used in that hole right there? I was looking for my other sugar bottle. You can make you a piece of plywood about 3/4 inches thick, and cut you a hole in it so the lid of a mason jar will fit in the hole, you know, not fall through, of course. And so you play like this is a piece of plywood. You cut your hole for the mason jar to fit, and you put that jar. That is the best feeder that you will ever have. It's better than an inside frame feeder. It's better than a entrance feeder. If a hive is starving in the wintertime, a feeder like I'm telling you will feed them, and they can get the syrup, and they will survive. So, all right, I'm gonna cut it off here for a minute. Okay, let's talk about beetles in your hive. This is a beetle buster, and if I can, well, I should have tore it apart before we started. They usually tear apart a lot easier than that. Okay, you can put cooking oil down at the bottom of this, and I'm going to take the top off to show you again. And and you put this, do not fill this up with oil. Just put a little bit in the bottom of it. There's a reason for that. You tilt your hive over, you forget this is in there, you're going to spill this oil over your bees and it'll kill them. If it hits the queen, you're a cooked goose. But this goes right down there between the frames like that. And some people put powder in there, like talcum powder. I'm not sure about that, but anyhow, cooking oil, just a little bit in the bottom, and it goes in there. These are what they call temporary. They're not permanent. Do not buy the permanent. If you do, you'll find out why I said don't get the permanent. Get this temporary. Now, just visualize this being a piece of plywood, 3/4 inch thick. It's got to be about that thick so the bees can crawl under this. Visualize you a hole in there that this lid will fit in just right. And now you can feed them. That's the best feeder there is. In the winter time, if you want, you can put a hive body on, an empty hive body on this if you want to. If you don't have one, most time you can leave just a piece of plywood up there. This in the plywood. All right, and now we're going to talk about the entrance again, and move my camera here where. Okay. When you order a hive, they will send you an entrance reducer. We use entrance reducers to keep out mice, not cold weather. Keep out mice. But this is what they'll send you. Now this one is in two pieces because this plastic bottom board has a piece right here. Normally this would be one solid piece, okay? And you have to put it, you have to slide it underneath there like that, and likewise here, and now these are sliding in pretty good. But let me tell you a much easier way, much easier. This is a thin piece of wood, and here's your entrance reducer, and you see how tall it is. All right, you just put it right there. Get you a couple of little nails, tack it on there. Now come next spring, you can pop that off real easy. Where these here are going to be, they're going to be glued in there. They're going to be propolized in there, and it's going to be a booger getting them out. This method here is so easy. Now let's talk about if you still want to feed your hives with an entrance feeder. Your normal gallon jars will not sit in that feeder because the jar is so fat. If you have a Coca-Cola bottling plant in your town, if you go talk to them, Coca-Cola syrup come in this. This is a gallon jar, but it's tall and more narrow than your standard gallon jar. And this will sit in that feeder, that front entrance feeder. Now, depending on your situation, you might have to put something here to kind of brace it, keep it from falling. But if you get this jar here, you can put a gallon on there, and they'll take that sugar syrup like you ain't never seen. And I think I've covered everything. If any of y'all know somebody that has purchased a flow hive, I would like for them to, and I'd like to verify that they're not with the people that's selling it, that they actually bought one, and maybe they've had it a couple of years. I've got my strong opinion, but I haven't used one. I don't know, but I've got my very strong opinion about it. And you know the old saying, if something seems too good to be true, it's probably not true. So, All right, well, I hope you enjoyed it, and send me an email, send me a message if you have any questions.